Hello mountain bikers, Jeff Bryans here with a first look at the 2018 Trek Slash. For those out of the know, the Slash was designed specifically for the rigors of EWS racing, and as such features 29-inch wheels, 150mm of travel via a metric-sized shock, a slack 65-degree head tube angle, and is certainly on the longer side of things. For 2018, the Slash is more or less the same as 2017, with the only noteworthy change being the move to a Trek-specific Thru Shaft shock and the inclusion of Eagle with respect to the 9.8 build, which I tested. Let's get right into it. Climbing. The bike is noticeably more active when pedaling than many other longer travel 29-inch bikes, such as the Hightower LT or Yeti SB55C. As such, I did find myself often using the climb switch on the shock for efficiency reasons, especially on smoother, longer ascents. When pedaling the bike in the shock's open position, the rear end offered gobs of traction, and so long as you stayed seated, it pedaled fine. Considering its slightly higher bottom bracket and active suspension design, it motored through sections of technical trail surprisingly well. Keep your eyes on the prize, move up on the saddle, and keep on the gas. The bike will claw up some seriously impressive sections of trail so long as you have the fitness. The two biggest drawbacks to the bike, as far as climbing goes, is the seat tube angle, especially at tall seat post heights, and weight. The former is something you have to learn to live with, and can be no big thing depending on how much seat post you have coming out of the frame. The latter can be addressed with spending a bit of money, especially on cranks and wheels. Make no mistake about it, however, this bike was not designed around being the fastest at the top, just getting you there, and it does so just fine. When gravity is on your side, however, the Slash comes into its own very quickly. Compared to other 150mm 29ers, I'd swear it has more travel, feeling akin to a DH bike at times as opposed to a longer travel cross-country bike. The bike asks the rider to be aggressive, lowering his head and attacking sections of trail. Passive and lackadaisical riding was penalized with a vague feeling front end and cumbersome handling through and through. When consciously charging, however, the bike offered gobs of support, hooked up incredibly well, and is very confidence-inspiring. Just stay over the front of your bike and keep your vision well down the trail. The bike carries momentum scary well and is very supportive and very lively. Perhaps the most active 150mm 29-inch bike I've ridden to date. Obviously, setup and suspension has a lot to do with this, but design is also responsible. Speaking of that, let's talk about the whole Thru Shaft shock thing. New is better, right? Eliminating the IFP, that's a good thing. Well, not in this case. I blew up the shock on my first ride. Performance prior to losing its damping was good, but compared to the stock RockShox Super Deluxe I replaced it with, it seems this technology falls into the category of being different for the sake of being different, not different for the sake of being better. Any improvement with respect to shock changing direction due to the lack of IFP was not discernible. The only noteworthy difference between the shocks being the reactive valving, helping the OEM shock pedal a bit better when wide open. But this was at the expense of how active the shock felt overall. I'd say Trek would be doing themselves a big favor by going with a stock RockShox Super Deluxe, as I feel durability alone would be improved with few drawbacks. Add a bar-mounted lever for lockout, and I think we'd all be happier. Racers can get the most efficiency at the push of a lever, and aggressive riders not looking to save fractions of a second can remove it, have a cleaner bar setup, and run that with little compromise. Trek did do a lot of little things right, like including an Eagle-worthy 32-tooth chainring, thankfully, as opposed to a smaller 28 or 30-tooth as I often see, a 200mm front rotor, and they left ample room for a bottle cage. Great. Also, they kept the cable routing clean and rattle-free. However, they completely blew it in a few ways, the most notably being the whole knock block thing. Why, oh why, did you guys just not leave room for the fork to clear the down tube? What were you thinking? Carbon fiber is cool because you can shape it however you want. This is a huge oversight, and being I do not run a stock cockpit, not taking full advantage of the knock block headset, this could cause problems in the event of a crash. Finally, the spec is good, but not great, at just under $6,000. The dropper post leaves a lot to be desired, developing an audible bushing rattle on day one. The wheels, however, have been great. Wide, stiff, tons of engagement, or high engagement. Good wheels. Kudos there thus far. However, considering the price point, the bike deserved the Fit 4 bladder-based Fox 36 damper, not the mid-range IFP base damper. Again, it's a price point thing. That said, the fork has performed incredibly well. Overall, however, if you're looking for a big-wheeled bike to tackle the top rigors of enduro racing, this may be your best bet out there. I'll follow this review with something more comprehensive in the coming months. For now, you guys know the deal. Throw the comments below. I'll do my best to answer. Cheers!